The trenches, where games aren't just played, they're conquered. Where bodies collide with the force of two pickup trucks at full throttle. Every snap is war. Every rep is survival. Their mission? Erase the man across from you, by any means necessary. The spotlight rarely hits them, but they don't care. They live in the chaos. They thrive in violence. They carry the weight of an entire team, dragging victory out of the mud with their bare hands. This is Trench Talk. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to Trench Talk on Nickel City Mafia. This will be the Week 5 offensive and defensive line talks. Overall, didn't get the win, so it's a little bit frustrating. There's a lot of good things, some bad things, like always. We'll talk about it. Like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you like the last week's format, because that's what we're bringing changes to it. And I got a little whiteboard presentation for you guys a little bit later in the video. So without further ado, let's get into the offensive line. We'll get into some notes from the offensive line, and then we'll get into some matchups for next week, and then we'll get into the stats. So we go drive by drive, talk about everything we saw, good or bad, and then we'll show some video. So on the first drive, first play of the game, McGovern got called for a holding. To me, little weak. Things like that happen all the time that don't get called. But with the Hockey League crew, they're very flag happy. And then they called a penalty, which backed us up even more. We had horrible field position the entire day. Again, so 2 weeks in a row with horrible field position. But that's what penalties do to you sometimes. And that's what happens when the defense doesn't make stops right away and they stop in the middle of the field. You get bad field position. The second play of the game, Edwards gave up a pressure. Again, it happens. I really want to push that narrative, guys, that you can't win every rep. Look at it like this. They do about, we'll say, 60 snaps a game on average, offensive lines. And it's just impossible to always win and to always be perfect. Look at quarterbacks, for example. When a quarterback, this is my favorite example. When a quarterback goes 20 for 30, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, that's a solid game, right? But they failed 10 times because they didn't complete the pass. No matter what happens, whether it was tipped, they dropped, you didn't complete the pass, you didn't win. You didn't win the rep, right? So that's how I look at it. And then Spencer Brown got beat pretty bad. He committed outside to the defensive end, and the defensive end was like, okay, I'm going to go inside, did a quick move on him, got pressure. Overall, it was a solid drive. The 2 pressures didn't really equal anything bad. We moved the ball, and then Knox fumbled. Second drive, we had great pass protection, great run blocking, but unfortunately, after a nice long run over 10 yards from Ty Johnson, Palmer was flagged for alignment issue. Now, obviously, he's not an offensive lineman, but it still aggravates me because wide receivers are always supposed to ask the official, am I on? And they either tell yes or no. So either the ref didn't tell him, because he should have still told him, even if he didn't ask, you're not on the line. You're not in the line 5. You're not in the line 5. So I don't know. That aggravated me, and it ruined the drive. We got no points because we backed up and out of field goal range, and then incomplete pass, didn't get any points there. Then the third drive, Keon fumbled. There was only 2. That was the second play, so then nothing really to talk about there. The fourth drive, Edwards false started. Again, it was the slightest movement. Can't happen. Expect better from my guys. No flags. Great overall. I mean, there wasn't really, after that, wasn't really anything to be like, oh wow, this was alarming. It's pretty solid overall. And the fifth drive, the controversial sack on Josh Allen given up by Brown. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so just I like supporting everybody, right? And you guys know I started this Trench Talk, on my own channel, and I did that because I just felt like people were really misunderstanding offensive line play and just offensive line for our team in general. We were bad up until 2023. 2023, 2024, now 2025, we've been an elite offensive line. And sometimes people still don't understand how good this team is. So I heard a lot of people making fun of the play, making fun of the offensive linemen, saying how bad they are. But I'm going to show you on the whiteboard here what happened and then what I think could have happened to save the play, and then the sack never would have happened. All right, everybody. Bear with me here. I know my head's cut off a little bit. So this is how that play was aligned. You had, obviously our 5-man. We had a running back out, but he didn't have anything to do with blocking here. Patriots came out with a wide 9, a linebacker showing the blitz, a D tackle in between in the A gap here, Torrance and McGovern. Then they had a D tackle lined up head on with Spencer Brown, and then they had another wide 9 on this side. Okay, so the way the play worked, the linebacker was a decoy, so he goes back into coverage. Dawkins and Edwards block this guy here. Then McGovern, Torrance, and Brown, they're all kicking back, blocking this way. So there. And then what the defense did was the D tackle came this way. This one came down this way. And the wide 9 went all the way around here. And then the defensive back was on a delayed blitz. So this caused confusion because while in the middle of Torrance passing off the D tackle to Brown, because the edge came on a stunt, the defensive back came. And then Brown was like, okay, I don't know what to do. And he left the pass off early to get the blitzing defensive back. And then Josh Allen stepped up, got sacked. And yeah, Edwards, if you watch the clip here, he's going to have bad footwork. He's going to hug the guy and look silly. But again, he had a horrible play there. He didn't affect that play. And I can tell you why he didn't affect it, because it's a quarterback's job to call the protections. Slide to the right, slide to the left, right? So now I'm going to erase this and show you what I think Allen should have did. Okay. So coming to the line, Allen should have noticed, okay, I got 2 D tackles and a defensive end on this side with a possible blitzing corner, and then I just got one guy with a potential blitz here. I'm going to call, slide to the right, and whatever way they have their communications. I'm going to have my whole offensive line shift to the right, because even if this guy's coming, Dawkins could still pick someone up, and then Edwards can make a decision while he's sliding. Should I pick this guy up or not? Because he tapped his head during the play, as you'll see, and points to him. I got 14, right? But as soon as if you call slide to the right, he was never blitzing, because the blitz was designed to come from here, because he was a decoy. Again, we don't know that, but Josh would, in this situation, I would take that chance. So if he slid, this guy goes back into coverage again. Dawkins still picks up this wide 9 technique, because he's going to blitz. He's going to come in. Dawkins can pick him up however he wants. And Dawkins might not have to slide at all if he's in a wide 9. So regardless, forget about this side. So then you got your 4 offensive linemen here and the 4 guys that could be potentially coming in to try to tackle Josh Allen. So as we remember what happened, it was a stunt with a delayed blitz. So the edge rusher, he comes in, then he loops around and gets right here, right? Then this D tackle is splitting, and this D tackle comes in, and the blitz comes from here, right? So sliding would have helped, because when they slid to the right, by the time the edge rusher came to the center, Edwards would have already been ready to get him, and then everyone else just shifts. So then McGovern can step in and reach block this guy. Torrance can come in, reach block this guy, and then Brown can just pick up the defensive back blitz. And then maybe Allen doesn't get touched at all. So that's just what I think. Again, I'm not saying I'm Josh Allen, I'm smarter than him, and I can make decisions, but I'm sure they were in the film room after watching this play and saying, this could have been different. Because the normal scheme was boom, 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 boom. Split, right? So people were saying, Edwards, he did nothing. He should have went over here. But he didn't know because he's not looking all the way down there and making calls at the line of scrimmage. That's Josh Allen. He's a quarterback. So Edwards didn't think, I got a feeling that they're going to have 4 guys on this side with a blitzer. So I'm going to, instead of going over here, which the assignment is, I'm just going to run a trap block here. Now, it would have been nice. It would have been nice if that was the play call. Hey, Edwards, you're going to trap, because they do that a lot. We run guard traps all the time to get blockers, to leave a guy uncovered to get blocked by someone else. But they didn't. So that's what could have happened if Allen slid protect the offensive line to the right. Could have completely avoided the sack entirely. So, yeah, did Brown give up a sack? Yes. Did Edwards look silly on the play? Yes. But, again, this could have been avoided if the general of the team saw this from the beginning and changed the play. All right, now onto the 6th drive. Brown did a great job on a tackle trap to spring a big run for James Cook. And what I noticed on that drive, I noticed that other drives too, but they know when we're going to run the football because it's so obvious when we run the football. Even Chris Collinsworth said it on the screen. When they're under center, they run this amount of times. When they do this, they run this amount of times. They pass this amount of times. We run a lot on first down. So yeah, it didn't – there's a lot of time. It looked like they stopped the run really well, but it wasn't because we couldn't block. And what I noticed in this game was the Lions still had their men blocked, but those defensive backs, those linebackers, our receivers and tight ends didn't do a great job blocking them. So, but again, it all goes to the run game. But we got a touchdown that drive. Overall, it was great. 7th drive, no bad to say, just great overall, pass blocking, run blocking. Now the 8th drive gets a little bit shaky. Torrance had a pressure that led to Josh Allen getting flagged. He got hit in the head. So it helped us out in the long run. He was with this guy, just got beat a little bit. Again, happens. Can't be perfect, but we talk about it, Then there was a pressure. We talk about this all the time with Torrance. As good as he is and as much as he's improving, he still struggles with quick feet across the body. He's a powerful man. He's 350 pounds. He's huge. So, yeah, he's going to have flaws. Everybody has a flaw. The best people in the world have flaws at things, right? So his flaw is people going across his body with speed. So Milton Williams came across his body, got inside on him, got a pressure. And then Brown got beat. Again, happens. Run blocking was good. Pass blocking was meh that drive. And the 9th drive, Brown got beat, but the pass was completed, so it didn't affect anything. Edwards got beat once, didn't really affect anything. And then we ended up getting a field goal. Should have been more, but Shakir dropped the ball wide open where it could have been at least 5 yards. Then it was just horrible play selection. He had all day to throw. So solid overall. So before we get into the stats, the PFF stuff, we're going to talk ahead for the matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. So for a key matchup this week, we got both of our tackles, Brown and Dawkins, versus an old friend and Leonard Floyd, and rookie James Pierce, who's young. He's quick, 6'5", 240, just hasn't done much yet. He's got 1 sack. Floyd's got 2 sacks. He's very quick, and Brown's been struggling this year with quick guys. I think it's because of his back injury. But yeah, that'll be something to watch. And then we'll just run through the PFF scores for the O-line real quick, and then we'll get into the defense. So I counted 7 total pressures out of 44, which was 16% pressure rate. Pretty solid. PFR had 4, very low pressure rate. I don't know if it's complete yet. Sometimes they add a couple later in the week, but we'll say they had between 4 and 7 as well. PFF counted 13, which is 30%. Not great, but not bad at all. And we were ranked 2 going into week 5. So we'll see where we are going into week 6 next week. So Dawkins had a grade of 69, 86.1 pass blocking, 60 run blocking, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 1 hurry, 1 total pressure, only 1 flag. He's been excellent. Edwards, probably his worst week since week 1. He's been solid. 63 offensive grade, 50.3 pass blocking, 66.3 run blocking, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 3 hurries, 3 pressures, no flags. McGovern had a 65 overall grade, 69.1 pass blocking, 62 run blocking, no sacks, no hits, 1 hurry, 1 pressure, 2 flags. Horrible. Got to get those flags fixed. Torrance, offensive grade of 52, 55.4 pass blocking, 49.2 run blocking, no sacks, no hits, 2 pressures, 2 hurries. 2 hurries, 2 total pressures, 0 flags. So he's been less than 3 for the last few weeks. He's been pretty good. Brown had a 64 overall grade, 45.2 pass blocking, 76 run blocking, credited with the sack, no hits. They counted him for 5 hurries, 6 total pressures, and no flags. So again, PFF thinks one thing, I see another thing. Not saying who's right, I don't know, but I counted 7, they counted 13. 13 seemed a little bit high, even watching from the game, but I counted 2 for Edwards, none for Dawkins, none for McGovern, 2 for Torrance, and 3 for Brown. So I'd say overall, I'm gonna give the O-line a B+. They bounced back after giving up a couple sacks last week. I know one of them shouldn't have been a sack for them, but bounced back again. They've been excellent all year. They missed some plays here and there, but it happens. We have to look at it again with a different lens of remember what we had. Remember that the offensive line with Brian Winters and John Feliciano and Roger Saffold and the Williams guy that from the Panthers that played tackle. Compared to this, it's like a million times different. Like that line was like bottom 12 to bottom 10 every year. So remember what we had and what we have now and appreciate it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel. Please put your thoughts in the comments. I really want to get more engagement on this. And I will see you guys next time. Go Bills.